Hello students, today we are going to deal with a poem titled The Tiger in the Zoo, written by George Leslie Norris. Leslie Norris is a Welsh writer born on 21st May 1921. He used to work as a lecturer and teacher in many schools and American universities. But once he found out his passion for writing, not only he became a poet but also a short story writer. Taken from his poetry collection, two notable works are Finding Gold, published in 1967, and Sea in the Desert, published in 1989. He bid farewell to the world on 6th April 2006. Okay, that's all you need to know about the author. As the title suggests, Leslie Norris explains the helplessness of an imprisoned tiger that lives in a zoo. The poet draws a strong comparison between the life of a tiger in the zoo and in its natural habitat, that is the jungle. Okay, now let's begin the poem. Stanza 1. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Here, stalk means follow or walking slowly. Vivid means bright color. Pads refers to the paws of a tiger and rage refers to his anger. In this stanza, the poet describes the appearance and the daily routine of the tiger in the zoo. Here, the tiger is following his own footsteps again and again due to the lack of space in the cage. Because he has soft paws like velvet, we can't hear his footsteps, but still we can see him moving due to his deep, bright colored stripes. And he is walking quietly in order to suppress his anger. And why is he angry? It is because he is not free, he is caged. Here, the poet actually draws the pitiable condition of an animal inside a cage. Stanza 2. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through the long grass near the water hole where plum deer pass. Here, lurking means lying hidden in order to attack. Sliding means moving very slowly. Plump deer means a fat deer. Now, the poet is taking us to the wild life of a tiger in his natural habitat. The poet says that the tiger would have hid himself behind the long grass so that he could catch a fat deer which came to have some water. But unfortunately, he can't do any of that because he is caged. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Here, snarling means a type of angry warning sound which is similar to a roar. Baring means uncovering. Fang means long, sharp teeth of a tiger. Okay, now here the poet says that in case the tiger fails to find his prey in the jungle, he would have moved towards the village located at the outskirts or edge of the jungle. He would have warned the people by roaring or making an angry voice. Not only that, he would have terrorized the people with his sharp tooth and claws. So stanza 2 and 3 actually explains how a tiger's life should be. Okay. Now stanza 4. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Now the poet brings us back to the reality of the tiger who is confined inside the cage. Though he is a ferocious animal, he is locked behind these concrete bars. He can't show his strength because he knows he can't break that cage. The image of the tiger who terrorizes the village people has shifted to an animal who ignores the teasing visitors, who knows nothing about his true strength. Stanza 5. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. In this final stanza, the poet says that at the night the tiger hears the sound of patrolling cars. Patrolling cars are a vehicle of police which are used to guard at night. So, even his night is being disturbed. During the day, he can't lie down due to the noise of the visitors and also due to his own rage of not able to free himself. And now, at night, these patrolling cars are disturbing his sleep. Then again, he can't sleep even after the last car leaves. He finds himself staring at the brilliant stars with his brilliant eyes. He might be staring at the star, asking himself, why am I caged? Why am I in this situation? Or maybe the shining star gives him hope for a better tomorrow, that ray of hope which makes him stand and walk again, even though he is caged. Now let us discuss some poetic devices used in the poem. So the first one that we are about to discuss is rhyme scheme. So in order to find the rhyme scheme, let us look at the first stanza. So we typically take the end words of each line. So stripes, cage, quiet and rage. So here the rhyming words are cage and rage. So the rhyme scheme will be A, B, C, B. Okay, you understand that? Now the second one is personification. Now what is personification? This is one of the most important poetic device that is used in this poem. Okay, so what is personification? So when you give the humane attributes to a non-human or non-living thing, it is called personification. So we know tiger, like it is an animal, right? It is not a human being. So we usually refers it as it, right? But in the poem, the tiger is called as he. So many a number of times in the first stanza and along with the poem, it is referred as he, his, like that. So that is an example for personification. Now the next one is enjambment. So what is enjambment? When the lines of the poem continues without any punctuation marks, it is called enjambment. So without any punctuation marks, the line continues to the next line. And an example for enjambment is the first and second line of the first stanza. Okay, so the first line, what is it? He stalks in his vivid stripes continues without any punctuation to the second line, the few steps of his cage. Then there is a punctuation mark, that is a comma. Now this is an example for enjambment. Now next one is consonance. Now consonance is the repetition of consonant sounds in a particular line, typically at the beginning and at the end of words. So in the first line itself, we can see the repetition of the letter S. Stalks, stripes. See how many S's are over there? 4 S's. So this is an example for consonants. Now a similar another poetic device is assonance. It is the repetition of vowel sounds anywhere in a line. Okay, an example for that is the first line itself. What is it? He stalks in his vivid stripes. See the repetition of I, the letter I inside the first line, in his vivid stripes. Now that is an example for assonance. Now the sixth poetic device that we are about to discuss is oxymoron. What is an oxymoron? It is when you use an adjective that is opposite of the word, the given word. Okay, an example is quiet rage. Okay, now what is the meaning of quiet? It means absolute silence. And what does rage means? It means an extreme, a violent kind of anger. Okay, now these two words, quiet and rage, actually what? Opposite to each other. So, but these words are again put together. This quiet act as an adjective to the word rage. So this is an example for oxymoron. Okay, now the next one is metaphor. This is also one of the major poetic device that is used in this poem. So what is metaphor? It is basically the comparison between two different things. Okay, so the comparison between entirely two different things. An example is on pads of velvet quiet. So what is the pad means? It means the tiger's soft pose, right? So the soft pose of the tiger is compared to what? To velvet. Okay, now that is an example for metaphor. Now the next poetic device is a very common device, that is imagery. What is imagery? It is when you can imagine the scene from the given words, it is called imagery. For example, is see the words lurking and sliding. So lurking means what? Lying hidden, and sliding means what? Moving very slowly. So when you hear those words, you are able to imagine that situation in your mind. You can actually see the situation in your mind. Now that is what? Imagery. Now, can you see the fourth line where plump deer pass? In that line, see the word plump and pass. So the first letter of both of them are P, consonant letters. Okay, so the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of words are known as alliteration. That is our next poetic device, that is alliteration. So an example is plump pass. Understand that one? Now the last one is onomatopoeia. Now what is onomatopoeia? It is the formation of a word from a sound. Okay, the word is formed from a sound. See the word snarling in the first line. So that is basically the roaring sound of a tiger. So that is developed into a word. So from that word we are able to understand that sound. So with this, we have almost discussed every poetic devices used in this poem. And do remember that tiger is not only the animal which needs freedom. Every wild animals requires their freedom. It is their right. We don't have the right to put them in cage for our own entertainment. Remember that as the future generation. Thank you.